guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Dan.
And I'm CJ.
This is the Board Game Rundown. Today, we are going to review Tidal Blades from Skybound Games and also Druid City Games. I don't know which one is. I mean, they're both down there, right?
They're both.
Yeah.
This is a 1 to 4 players game. It is. I will let you explain. But there is an expansion for it that adds a 5th player, Angler's Cove.
Yep, and I have not played with the expansion yet. It's a pretty basic worker placement game. There's a lot going on here, and we purposely kept a lot set up here so you can see what just insane table hog this game is.
Yeah.
And
Lot of
first of
room.
all, it's only set up for 3 players right now, right? I don't even see the 4th player board.
Yeah, I think
Right.
It was
Oh,
over
yeah,
here.
it's over here. Okay, but then also the player boards have spaces where you need to keep your cards under them and all this stuff too. That's not 100% set up right. So it's an insane table hog. I get this camera probably isn't even getting it all in frame. It's crazy. But yeah, it's a pretty simple worker placement game. On your turn, you're putting out your worker and you're bringing your colored disc with you. When you leave the spot, you'll leave the disc behind, marking that spot has been taken like any other worker placement game, and put your disc down in the next spot. You get what you go on. Every island also has its own special action that you also get, so you're kind of getting 2 actions every time you take your turn. And then the main point of the game is you are completing challenges, which, let me have a challenge really quick. Whoop. Thank you. Which look like this, where you're going to be rolling dice and trying to match the symbols, and you're going to be fighting monsters. And also, again, rolling dice and trying to match the symbols. When you kill a monster, you get winning stuff. When you complete challenges, you get winning stuff, all that kind of stuff. End of the game is just victory points, but there's a lot of different ways to get victory points, right? You can kind of focus this champion track and get potentially over 1/3 of your points just from that. Or everyone has this secret objective they're working towards, which can also be 1/3 of your points if you pull it off, So right there, if you just are able to pull those 2 things off, it's huge. The game looks really intimidating, but I honestly think once you get it going, other than 1 or 2 little fuzzy things, it's very intuitive.
I would agree with that
It
statement.
works the way you think it would.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that statement because it was so much, right?
Yeah.
It's so much to put out. Now, they do a neat thing, right, on the board. On the back here, they've got a bit. It's highlighted. It tells you where in the layout it is going to go, which is pretty clever. I like that. The artwork is fantastic.
Yeah, I love the artwork.
And I have the Kickstarter edition at home. So I have upgraded components, but even these components are fine. They're serviceable. The artwork's really good. The standees are nice. They're good quality. The stands go in and out, and they don't feel like they're destroying your
Yeah, because a lot of times it tears the bottom of the
your standee.
Yeah.
And it kind of like the cup design on the bottom of this kind of feels like it.
I wish it was
so close.
slightly bigger.
I mean, it's like so
bit
close
bigger,
to just sitting on there perfectly.
Yeah.
But you get a ton of dice.
The dice are nice.
The die are
when
all
they roll in your favor.
They're all really good quality, and they don't roll well if your name is Bob. Apparently,
Yeah, bad day today. It's okay.
the finish on the cards is nice. Now this isn't like a standard card size, right? This is like a funky.
Yeah, I think it's those European. They're skinnier.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's just slightly narrower than your regular playing
Yep.
card, but they're still big enough.
It's like
They're not.
Yu-Gi-Oh
They're
size.
not this small.
They're not mini,
Right.
but they're like in
Sure.
between.
Like X-wing cards. Say.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
I was
yeah,
thinking that.
Yeah.
yep. And but the finish on the cards is real nice. They
Yep.
nice rounded corners, durable.
Nice
Yep.
feeling.
You got player aids that really explain stuff pretty well.
They're pretty
Yeah,
good.
they talk you through the entire upgrade process of the dice there and all the,
The
faces,
faces,
of different
that's
damage.
super nice.
The danger dice,
Yeah.
very nice. And it has a pretty nice player aid here. My only issue with the player aid when we're in components is it doesn't have the end of round
Summary
thing on it,
Yeah.
which I've now played the game 4 times or 5 times, and I still have to pull out the almanac and go to the back and talk down everything in order for everyone. I just wish there was a slightly bigger
Smaller,
one or
yeah.
just a second card that's just end of round or something to have on the table so you don't have to pull out the giant
Yeah,
book
because a
every
giant
time.
square.
Yeah,
look.
these you don't want to pull out. Here's the almanac right here. See, I have to pull out this giant book just to look at this end of round thing right here every time. And sure,
I mean, at
that's
least
'cause
it's
my
right
memory
on the
is
back of the
terrible.
book.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
give
yeah.
them that.
Right.
No, very appreciated. Just a little card would have been nice.
Speaking of backs of things, actually, so
Frog in a gas mask.
well, yeah, you're not gonna have to worry about.
What? That's what it looks like.
Yeah, a little bit. You're not gonna have to worry about your discs flying off of here because they're really
yeah.
solidly riveted.
They're attached on
there.
it pretty good. And
Which
they come
is-
pre-assembled, which is nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not only
Because
do
they
you
don't
not have
trust
to build
you.
it yourself, but they're not gonna go like, oh crap,
Flying
I
out
dropped
there.
my entire box and,
And the
Yeah.
skids
and the
across
player
them.
boards are pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like them. They are again. The artwork's really good.
Yeah.
Are they different? Are they asymmetrical?
No, they're all the
they're all the
same.
same.
Yep.
Okay, that's too bad.
Yep, that all breaks down the same.
But you do get your own
Asymmetrical
character. You don't
deck.
get your own character deck,
right, with
and then
different abilities.
as you get
Synergize.
higher synergy level, you're going to uncover a space that will allow you to draw a card right there.
Yep.
And each dial might have something special. Not that one. So I spoke too soon. Is that the only one that gives you something for going
Mostly,
all the way up?
yes.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
because they all have to do with game components rather than a
Sure.
thing that you have to do.
but I mean, overall though, that's pretty good. It's fiddly though, right?
It's a little fiddly.
There's a
Sometimes
lot
I
of-
felt like as I was completing my challenges, I would forget to up that skill because every time you cover a skill by completing it or a challenge by completing it, you get to up the appropriate skill, and I kept forgetting.
You almost need. Now, when we just played, we had the benefit of Dan just sitting out and teaching, and so he was pointing out things like, "Hey, make sure you do this."
Make sure you do that.
So, but after a couple rounds, I felt like I was more or less doing it consistently. But if you're playing and you're trying to learn, that might be a bit of a struggle. Like, oh, hey, I didn't know to do this.
Yeah, I think if they would have put that like, hey, and now advance X like right on the cards, like on the challenge cards,
Right.
just so it's like that immediate
Reminder.
the
Right.
explain it to me like I'm 5.
Sure.
correct rule.
Yeah. There's
Like
a lot of things to keep your mind around.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff. It's not overly complex, but there's a lot of
Right.
stuff. It's
Right.
sort of like right in that weird kind of area.
Sure.
But again, beautiful. I mean, the game's beautiful. The table presence is really nice.
They got a lot of lore that goes with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
yeah.
looks like it's a D&D campaign in the making.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And, they might actually be coming out with books for
for 5th edition.
Sure.
Well,
I like for
I'd
their
have to
own
take a look-see at
for
that
their
one.
own
And remember
scenario.
too that on this box it just says part 1, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
so there's gonna
Oh,
be
okay.
a lot more going on.
Yeah, this is a an IP that they would like to build on. So I guess we'll see what happens with that.
Okay.
But this is just the retail edition, so there's a
Yes.
lot of stuff in a lot of game, and I could see the replayability with the potential for different monsters.
Yep.
Either
There's
just
that
playing
advanced mode they have.
Yeah.
right, and either just playing different characters so you can
Yep.
see the other decks,
The way they
or keep playing the one character and kind of really figuring out like
What he's good at.
what he's good at and
Yep.
all the cards he's got. And each character does have their own. I didn't read this while we were playing.
Backstory and everything else.
They got a backstory. They
Tells you
tell
what
you
they're
like
good at.
favorite
Play type,
traits.
yep.
See, I should have looked at that,
That would have
Yeah.
helped.
but
Yeah.
it's all right. I tied and then lost
A tiebreaker.
because of the tiebreaker, which
Yeah.
was
Story
fine.
of my life.
To
Yep.
CJ,
Right.
but that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I represented myself
Yeah.
well for
I
a change.
I kind of wish, like in the synergy cards, instead of just drawing one off the top, because there's so many of them, you only get to get gain like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Maybe draw 2 and choose one.
Well,
you
so
have more option to see.
I
more
had my
cards.
synergy
Yeah,
almost maxed out,
Yeah.
and I had 4 cards.
Yep. And you started with 1, so you only got to gain 3.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a whole lot of deck you didn't get to see.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess
One,
that just ups the
2,
replayability
3.
like crazy.
Sure.
Which might be why they did it, but
Right.
sure.
And that way you're not like just trying to get to that one card all the time.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yep. The only other thing I wanted to mention before I forget concerning components is I think Bob feels similar, but I might be wrong.
Mhm.
A lot of times in games, like I love Lords of Hellas a lot. I'll play the game, base game, and then I'll play with like the expansion terrain pack, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'll be like, this is the way the game was meant to be played.
Sure.
It increases the experience so much.
Mhm.
In this game, I have played both versions, and unless you really love the game, I actually don't feel like the Kickstarter exclusive stuff is necessary at all. I almost prefer playing with this stuff. It's less fiddly, it takes up less room. It's like the miniatures are so big, they cover so much the stuff. So like if you're going to one of these spots where everyone's going, you just have this pile of stuff, and I don't know, I genuinely just felt when we were playing the Kickstarter one, I was just like, I'm glad I don't have any of this.
The biggest
know?
perk for me, though, that I like about the Kickstarter ones is the little mini busts that you
Sure.
get that go over
These
the
are
thing.
busts
sure.
instead
Yeah.
of just using one of your
Yeah,
chips.
and those look super cool. But
Yes,
other than
I
that,
agree.
though, yeah.
So
And
how big would these miniatures be? Just out of
I mean, they're like
about
this
that
size.
size?
Yeah,
About the
he's
size of
he's
characters?
pretty
They're-
decently
They're
chunky.
regular. They're regular size, like height mini, like
Yeah,
standard.
There's so many. I forget
whatever
what
the standard
millimeters
size is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy's like obviously a lot broader.
he's a
and then
lot
she's
thicker.
smaller.
Itty
You know, I
bitty,
mean,
okay.
they're size representative.
Okay.
But
So I'm just trying to picture how that would look. Like, oh
Right.
yeah, no, I can see how that could be a traffic jam real quick.
Mhm.
right. But I mean, really, just retail out of the box. It's a pretty component wise. It's
my-
a really nice game.
My
Lots
biggest
of chits.
component wise would be that I have a hard time telling these D8s apart. Like if they would have made the colors a little bit more distinguishable, that would help tremendously. Because
So-
I tried setting it up, and apparently I had him in the wrong spot.
So those are hard for you to tell, or the
white,
other?
it's
or-
white, yellow, red.
Yeah, the
Okay.
white one's not bad, but yeah, these two here I had a hard time.
Okay.
distinguishing, Yeah.
Okay. So sure.
And I mean, it's on.
You can
theme
always look at the
'cause they're,
faces.
Like coral, because
Oh,
because
yeah.
the sea.
Sure.
Right. But yeah. So Dan, how do we do our ratings here at the rundown?
Well, at the board game rundown, we'll all give it an individual score from 1 to 10, and then because we're a group and we want you to just see what the rundown itself scores, it will average them all together, and you'll get one score, so that when you go to our Board Game Geek and stuff like that, you don't have to worry about, well, Tim gave this game this, and then instead it's just this is what they gave it. We think that way is best and easiest.
also, just
to,
pay attention to my ratings.
Yeah, of course.
So you can ignore it.
It's funny though. You could go to Board Game Rundown's Board Game Geek and be like, they gave this game a 7, and then go to like our personal challenge and be like, oh, but Dan gave it a 3, for instance, right? Like Dan hated this one, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so that's how it works. CJ.
Okay. Well.
So from a 1 to 25.
Yep. And any final thoughts you want to throw
With
out there,
13
too?
being the best.
Yeah.
And 25 being the worst.
How do you guys get anything?
We don't.
Anyway, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be a little bit of a contrarian, maybe, because this reminds me of games like Hero Quest and Dragon Strike and that.
Sure.
Like for the modern age. Okay, cool. There are a lot of mechanics going on that I don't really know if I enjoy. And this is gonna because I had fun.
Yeah.
Right? Of course, I was playing with you guys, so of course I'm gonna have fun.
That helps.
I would say that if so if a 10 out of 10 is a perfect game in my
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
And then you start subtracting points for things
Sure.
that don't work. I would say this is probably a 7 for me. I don't think that the combat mechanic up here feels like it's part of the game as much as, this is me. It feels like a side thing,
Sure.
because over there you got challenges that you can all do here, and then you go to this center place, Citadel of
And
Time,
get
right?
challenges.
Get
You have to
challenges.
get more challenges. And oh, by the way, here's some monsters that are attacking. So I feel like if this would have been a little bit more like
Fleshed
all right,
out, kind of.
yeah, either more fleshed out or focused more on the challenge aspect. Like you're, instead of like warriors, you're like athletes or whatever in this
Right.
fantasy world. And then you could bring in the combat stuff in an expansion.
Sure.
Like I think that would have given a little bit more.
It's funny you say that though, because
Mm.
you kind of are like athletes competing.
That's what I was gonna say. That actually
So,
is kind of the theme.
Think of
Right.
like the beginning of Wonder Woman 84,
I
which
try not to.
right, which everybody should at least skip that part if you're gonna watch any of that movie. But how they're all like
Yeah.
the warriors are all competing to be the best. So that's what we're trying to do, is we're like all auditioning to be the next
best.
Tidal Blade.
Right.
Right.
We did not explain the theme of the game when
Correct.
we sat down to play, but
said,
I
"Roll
know
the
that
dice."
from the Kickstarter and stuff like that. Yeah, we just sat down and explained it. But I did think that was funny that you, because you specifically brought up that, so I just felt like I should
Yeah.
point that out.
Yes.
Not that
Yeah.
that should affect your rating.
I feel like this base game as it is should be Act 1. If it's going to be part 1 of anything, it
Sure.
should be Act 1 of. All right, I'm going to try not to be a huge nerd here and just say man with 1,000 or hero with 1,000 faces
Sure.
sort of thing.
Yep.
This
Yep.
should be the the rising
trials,
action.
yeah, as we
yeah.
right.
So
So a
7
7?
out of 10. You know what? 7 out of 10 in America. That is a C+. You know what a C is? Passing.
Passing. Passing.
Yeah.
So it's very and it's actually not just passing. It's above failing. So because 5 out of 10 is a fail technically.
Right.
So I would rate this as above average. All this stuff, all the prettiness of it, really. It's really immersive, which I know you don't really think of in board game terms, maybe all that much.
Oh, you should though. I mean,
But
some
you should-
people
yeah,
some
you
people care
definitely
about that.
Yeah.
Some people care.
Yeah.
Some,
And they definitely took the time to be immersive with it,
right.
which gives it a all right.
Right.
Maybe
There you
not
go.
2 thumbs
Definitely
up,
helps.
but all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So 7. That's solid. That's solid. What do you think, Bob?
Yep. So this is definitely a game that I don't mind playing. I don't think it'd be one that I would go for right away, right? Like, hey, what do you want to play? I'm like, oh yeah, let's play Tidal Blades. So it's like it's not going to be like an 8 or a 9 for me, but I think CJ kind of nailed it. It's right around a 7 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the dual layer player boards, maybe would have made it a 7.5, but hey, that's okay.
What do you need the dual layers for, though?
You don't. I just love
They
them.
all
Just wondering.
technically 2 layers too. I just point that out.
Sure, it's got dials on it.
Sure.
But I do enjoy the upgraded bits, like the squishy oranges from the deluxe.
I like those
they are
too.
nice.
I do like those.
But yeah, so I give it a 7. I would definitely play it if somebody wanted to play it again. Like I said, I don't think it's one that I'm going to be like pushing on people to try to get to the table more often. It is quite a bit of a table hog. But I do enjoy the dice when they roll in your favor. But yeah, there's a few things that I would change up to try to like make it better. Like I said, the deck, being able to see more of my cards would be nice.
Right.
Instead of having to dedicate another hour and a half to playing it again.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah.
All right. What do you got? What do you got, Dan?
Well, it's actually really funny. You really, well explained, CJ. He hit pretty much every thought I had. Pretty much every thought I had on the nail. On what?
Yep.
Hit the nail. On
all
the
the
head.
thoughts
That's
on the nail.
Expression. Thoughts on the nail. Anyway, I was thinking about this rating because I knew we were going to review it, and I've been thinking about it the last couple of days, and I think I've settled on the simple fact is, I don't love the game, but I enjoyed it. I've now played it like 5 times, I think, like I said. I've taught it a couple times now. And the simple fact is I was thinking about a rating. I was actually thinking about something Bob said not too long ago where he said, would you recommend it? And that's kind of where I draw my line through my score is if I would recommend a game, then it has to be 7 or higher. That's like how I describe it, just to me personally.
Yep.
And I would recommend this game. So while I was teeter-tottering between a 6 and a 7 and a 6.5, that area, but the simple fact is I would look at someone that I think would enjoy this theme or this art, and I would be like, you should try Tidal Blades. I would. So I'm going to give it a 7, which so far makes the math very easy.
I'm going to complicate things, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, incoming fractions.
No, components are great,
Yes.
right? The artwork is really great.
Yep.
Immersive is a great word. If you are somebody that cares about theme and you want to get into the lore, like this is a thing, right? Because each character's got their own backstory, blah, 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 in addition to their synergies, right?
Yep.
And like things that they want to...
And the deluxe version does come with an art book that adds even more lore
Right.
to the story.
Shoot, I just read the art book.
Absolutely,
I was like, oh,
absolutely
like, look at
beautiful.
this.
Yeah.
I worry, though, about people getting intimidated just by the look of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So, because I've got family members that I play games with all the time, they don't always want to play the most complex games, and that's fine. And this is not the most complex of games, but if I brought this out, like I could just see their faces turning
Like,
green.
whoa.
Like, oh no, there's so much. And it's like, no, really, it's not that much. And it would take some convincing, right? And I think if they sat down to play it, it'd be fine. But I also know that they would run away the second it was time to put this game away.
Yeah.
Because it would be setup, even with the Kickstarter and the nice stuff, setup is still takes a minute.
Yep.
And teardown is going to take a minute.
Yep.
Those are kind of negatives. I do love the mod. If this was actually modular, but it's not, right?
Yes. It just looks like it.
If it was actually modular, this would be awesome. But honestly, there's no reason why this isn't just a
It's
board.
because they're
Correct.
islands.
And that's
Right.
the
It's
whole
just
In
theme
the
behind
theme.
it. Right. So
Immersion
here's
thing,
an
yeah.
island, there's an island, and that's why they're separate.
Yes.
Why couldn't you just make a big blue board under
Right.
it? though?
You just put a little blue between the two sections of the land, boom, island.
It's fine.
I get it.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It just makes it look more intimidating, and
Sure.
it's a little bit more to work with.
Yep.
I felt like gameplay was pretty fun. I hated losing my dice fighting
Yeah.
that
Everybody
guy
fight a
like
monster.
automatically.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
Like,
I don't like that.
It would be
mechanic.
awesome if you could. I mean, just because when you fight, if you take hits, you can spend your shells
Right.
to save your dice. And if that had applied up here as well, I think I would have had more
Yes.
fun.
I agree, because you work so hard sometimes to get to those high-level dice, and then they're gone.
I guess
Right.
I will
You sure
say.
do.
Oh, it's like
Bob.
Champions of Midgard, which I don't like.
I guess
Right, which is why the expansion fixes that.
I will say though to jut in a little bit is we were playing with some of the beginner mode stuff. So the way certain mechanics worked were the easy mode and not the advanced mode. In the advanced mode, you would be getting more
dice?
abilities,
Okay.
more asymmetric powers, more dice, and
Okay.
losing dice wouldn't be as bad.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But yes, I do see what you're saying.
So, so in the beginner mode, the version I have played, that was not a thing I loved. Even though going and fighting the monsters was fun,
Yeah.
Right.
it's not arbitrary because you get punished if you don't hit it. But at the same time, you're so limited in your actions, which is good because you're trying to complete challenges and earn stunt cards and do different, do the different things because the challenges are going to allow you to increase your stats. But then it's like on top of that, we've got to go up here and fight. And it's kind of a hassle.
Yeah.
Even though the benefits are really good. So I really like on the Kickstarter, I was like, this game looks beautiful. I love everything about it. So it started at a 10. And then we started playing it and like trying to see the setup and kind of like CJ, right? You start working down. And again, it's so immersive. The math's going to be brutal on this, guys. It's a 7 for me. It is a 7.
I hate you.
I enjoyed playing this, but I'm not going to rush out to like go, hey, guys, Tidal Blades. Now, if somebody's talking about how they really want to play a game where you're like dice building, if this was like bag building with these dice and you're drawing them out, right? Like my head might explode with like how excited I'd be.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Delight.
But the bit, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff, a lot of fiddly bits. I don't mind, but it's a lot. It's a lot if you're trying to wrangle a bunch of monkeys. So, Jeff off camera did the average from a 7, a 7, and a 7, and a 7, and somehow we got 25.
Yeah. Wacky. Yep. I don't know.
Fuzzy math.
That's that Common Core math.
But this
What's
is
7 times 4 divided by 4? That's really.
This is legit like a straight up 7, and I believe that rating is true, like really fair,
solid.
If any of this appeals to you, I'm gonna just say go get it.
Yeah. Again, I would recommend the game easily.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure it's for me.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And
but
again, because here in America things are a little bit wonky sometimes when it comes to what's a passing grade or not.
Yeah.
A 7 is above average.
Yeah, it's good.
It is
good.
darn right good.
70% on Rotten Tomatoes is still certified fresh.
Yeah.
So you're still good. And I think at least one of the Star Wars prequels is like a 70. So this is better than that.
Definitely the third one.
It's better than any of those. But yeah, guys, I mean, this is Tidal Blades. It's fun.
Heroes of the Reef.
Heroes of the Reef.
I think that's what
And
it's
it's
called.
part 1. So we'll
from
see.
Skybound and Druid City Games.
Yep.
And
what do you guys think about it? Have you guys played it? It's delivering for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
Fulfilling now. Well,
Answer the question.
I would like.
Why aren't you answering Dan?
Yeah. Can we just get a TV show or something
About Echo?
About Echo? Well, about
this
all
would
the
be a
characters.
really fun
but-
cartoon to like watch.
Yeah, no, this would be
a
a great cartoon. Like,
Yeah.
like Netflix exclusive. Hey, call us.
Right? Yeah, we got ideas.
You know.
Yeah, you know.
I will call us Netflix because I will give you reams and reams
This
of
other
things.
company's rights.
I'll have their people call my people. Will call
Right,
their people.
right.
That'd be
Right.
great.
So for the board game rundown, I've been Tim.
I've been Bob.
I've been Dan.
And I'm CJ.
We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.
Take care.